If I told you Colombia is one of the most optimistic countries in the world, would you believe me? Probably not yet. For decades, whenever the name Colombia showed up on screen, people thought of cartels, drugs, and streets you shouldn't walk down after dark. But then you set foot here. You hear salsa spilling out from a small doorway. You see a vendor call a stranger they've just met, "Mijo, my child." You eat a steaming hot lunch for just a few dollars, then notice the person sitting next to you is smiling, as if you'd known each other for years. Colombia is the only South American country with coastlines on both the Pacific and the Caribbean. But the greatest paradox here isn't about two oceans. It's about a people once feared by the whole world who still believe in tomorrow more fiercely than most of us do. This isn't the Colombia of old news reports. It's the Colombia of today, vivid, scarred, and so full of life, it can completely change the way you see it. Part 1. Beauty that isn't just skin deep. Let's start with what many people mention first, Colombian women. This country has been crowned Miss Universe twice. Luz Marina Zuluaga won the first crown in 1958. Then in 2014, Paulina Vega brought the crown back to Colombia after a 56-year wait. In 2015, Colombia's Ariadna Gutierrez was announced the winner crowned and then had to hand the title back just minutes later after the host misread the results. Joy turned to shock live on air. But Colombian beauty can't be summed up by crowns alone. Their faces carry a blend of indigenous, European, and African heritage. Yet what's more captivating than appearance is a very distinct confidence. They grow up with salsa, bachata, cumbia, and reggaeton music that's present at the dinner table, on the bus, and on the street corner. Medellín has become a global reggaeton hub tied to names like J Balvin, Maluma, and Karol G. But if you only call Colombian women beautiful, you still don't understand them. The younger generation is stepping onto the world stage through education, careers, and a clear sense of independence. Looks make people turn their heads. Character is what makes them unforgettable. Part 2. Where everything begins, family. Behind that confidence lies something even more important than beauty: family. In Colombia, family can include grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and even a neighbor who's grown so close that no one remembers exactly when they became part of the family. Weekend meals tend to be loud, long, and always have room for one more chair for whoever shows up late. That spirit shows clearly in the quinceañera, a girl's coming-of-age celebration at 15. Some families save for years just to give their daughter one truly special day. The most touching moment isn't the elegant dress or the tiered cake. It's when the father kneels down, swaps his daughter's flat shoes for her first pair of heels, then takes her hand to lead her into the waltz. No long speech is needed. One small gesture is enough to say childhood is closing, but family is still here. Perhaps these bonds are what have helped them hold on to joy through a history that was anything but gentle. Part 3. Why is a country with so many scars? This optimistic, according to Ipsos's 2025 Global Happiness Survey, 79% of Colombians surveyed believe their quality of life will improve over the next 5 years, the highest rate among the 30 countries in the survey. That figure is hard to believe if all you know of Colombia comes from cartels and Pablo Escobar, a man who's been dead since 1993. While the world keeps replaying the old story, Colombia has quietly been writing a different one. Nearly 7 million international visitors arrived in 2024 to explore Cartagena, the coffee region, Cali, and a completely different Medellín. Colombia doesn't want a nation of over 50 million people reduced forever to one man's story. Colombia isn't a flawless postcard either. Some border and remote areas still carry risk. Travelers should check the latest advisories. People here aren't happy because life is always easy. For them, optimism is more like a habit practiced daily. Turn on the music. Call your loved ones over, share a meal, and keep moving forward. Part 4. Where strangers become friends in just a few minutes, Colombians often joke with visitors. The biggest danger of coming here is you won't want to leave. The 2025 Expat Insider Survey ranked Colombia among the friendliest countries for foreigners. That warmth shows up right in how people address each other. Someone you've just met might call you parce buddy, or mijo mija, son, daughter. Ask for directions and they won't just point. If it's convenient, they might walk part of the way with you. Compliment a dish, and they'll hand you grandma's recipe on the spot. And if you happen to be standing near a party, watch out. Within minutes, you could have a cup in your hand and be pulled into the middle of the dance floor. Here, friendliness doesn't knock on the door. It walks right in and pulls you out of your shyness. Part 5. $3 can buy a lunch, but not the whole story behind it. If you want to understand a country, sit down and eat with its people. Across Colombia, you'll find menú del día, or corrientazo, an everyday lunch of soup, rice meat, fried plantain salad, and fresh juice. Depending on the city and neighborhood, a full plate might cost just a few dollars. This isn't a meal made for photos. It's a hot plate for workers, students, and drivers on their lunch break. For something bolder, head to Santander to try hormigas culonas, salt-roasted queen ants, jokingly nicknamed Santander caviar. They appear during a short season, usually from March to May, a tradition rooted in the indigenous Guane people. More familiar are arepa bandeja paisa, a hot bowl of ajiaco in Bogota's cool air, and a pot of sancocho that tastes best when there are more people around the table than chairs. And then there's the coffee. On Andean slopes so steep that machines can't reach them, coffee cherries are picked by hand. Down in the streets, people drink tinto, a small, strong black coffee, often already sweetened. Nothing fancy, just a pause in the day where a conversation starts with coffee. Part 6. Medellín, the city that hit rock bottom and rebuilt itself. To understand why joy in Colombia is so precious, look at Medellín. In 1991, at the peak of cartel violence, the city recorded roughly 380 murders per 100,000 people. More than 2 decades later, Medellín was being celebrated for urban innovation instead. The turnaround began with a practical question: how do you stop the poor living on the hillsides from being cut off from the rest of the city? In 2004, public cable cars were connected to the metro system. Those small cabins carried more than passengers. They carried access to education, jobs, and the feeling that the city finally saw them. Comuna 13 is the clearest symbol of that revival. A neighborhood once gripped by violence and armed groups is now known for its outdoor escalators, murals, music, and young guides who tell the neighborhood's history in the voice of people who actually lived through it. Behind the vibrant murals, the memory of loss still lingers. What's remarkable is how residents turned walls that once witnessed fear into places for storytelling, art, and making a living. Medellín hasn't erased its past. It's building its future right on top of those cracks. Part 7. A number on a bill that can follow you your whole life. Yet behind this progress lies a deeply stratified society. Colombia's estrato system classifies neighborhoods on a scale from 1 to 6. Lower tiers receive subsidized electricity, water, and gas, while higher tiers pay more to offset the cost. Over time, though, a number meant for calculating utility bills has quietly become a social label. When someone asks, "What estrato do you live in?" they may really be guessing at your income, your schooling, and your opportunities. A policy designed to help the poor has ended up making the line between rich and poor even more visible. Colombia is gradually shifting towards support systems more closely tied to each household's actual circumstances and income. It's not a fast road, but it shows a country willing to look honestly at its own inequalities. Part 8. A country under 1% of Earth's surface, holding nearly 10% of all life. If the people of Colombia surprise you, the country's nature might leave you speechless. Colombia ranks among the most biodiverse countries on the planet. On less than 1% of Earth's land surface, it's home to roughly 10% of all known species. Colombia has more bird species than any other country and boasts an astonishing variety of orchids. Its national flower is the Cattleya trianae orchid, but perhaps the strangest wonder is Cano Cristales, the liquid rainbow river. At a certain point each year, the riverbed bursts into red, yellow, blue, and black. The red comes from Macarenia clavigera, an aquatic plant that changes color under just the right light and water levels. This region was once nearly cut off due to armed conflict. Only after the 2016 peace process did travelers gradually gain access under strict rules to protect the ecosystem. There's something very Colombian in that story, a beauty once hidden by war, finally getting the chance to be seen. Part 9. An underground cathedral and a town that tells stories in color. Beneath Zipaquira, at a depth of around 180 meters, a cathedral has been carved into the tunnels of an old salt mine. 14 stations of the cross lead to the main chamber, where a massive cross glows under blue-violet light. The cold air and the long echo of footsteps make the place feel outside of time. This site didn't start out as a tourist attraction. Miners once carved small prayer alcoves before each dangerous shift. The current structure, inaugurated in 1995, carries that same tradition forward. A few hours away lies Guatap, where the base of nearly every house tells a story through colorful zócalos reliefs. Just outside town, the El Pinol rock rises nearly 200 meters. More than 700 steps lead to the summit, where hundreds of green islands open up across the lake below. But that lake was created by a hydroelectric project in the 1970s. Beneath its calm surface lies part of the old town of El Penal streets, homes and memories that gave way to development. In Colombia, even the most beautiful landscapes sometimes carry a story that's both stunning and sad. Part 10. When an entire city becomes a dance floor. Some countries hold festivals. Colombia lives inside one. Every year, Carnival Barranquilla turns the city into a sea of costumes, drumbeats, and dance. For 4 days, the line between performer and audience nearly disappears. Further south, Cali is the salsa capital, its dancers moving with steps as fast and relentless as a race against the music. Vallenato carries the sound of the Caribbean accordion across the whole country. Cumbia blends indigenous African and European influences. Every August, Medellín fills with flowers as the siliteros carry enormous floral arrangements on their backs. They don't dance because they've forgotten hardship. Perhaps they dance because they're still here. Part 11. Colombia has traveled the world even before the world noticed. In 1982, Gabriel Garcia Marquez won the Nobel Prize in Literature. 100 Years of Solitude drew readers into a place where the fantastical and the everyday stand side by side like neighbors. Once you visit Colombia, you understand why magical realism was born here, a river that changes color, a cathedral inside a salt mountain, a city once among the most dangerous now carrying its people over hillsides by cable car. Reality here is already strange enough without needing fiction. Colombia also lives on in the art of Fernando Botero, in the voice of Shakira, in the music of Karol G and J Balvin. Deep beneath the mountains, green emeralds form in darkness before shining thousands of kilometers from home. Medellín is called the City of Eternal Spring, where the climate stays mild year-round and flowers can bloom in nearly any season. And there's a good chance that a bouquet of roses you once gave on Valentine's Day began its journey on a field in Colombia. The country is one of the largest suppliers of cut flowers to the U.S. market. A place once remembered for violence has been quietly sending out a symbol of love, one stem at a time. Colombia doesn't deny its past. The scars and inequalities are still there. But if we only see this place through the fear of 30 years ago, we'll miss a people who are actively reclaiming their own story. They do it through music, coffee, colorful walls, and the belief that tomorrow can be better than today. Maybe that's the real secret of Colombia. Happiness isn't a life without wounds. Happiness is that after everything, you still have the courage to open the door, turn on the music, and invite a stranger in. So now that you've seen the real Colombia, where would you want to go first? Medellín, Cartagena, the coffee region, or the Rainbow River of Cano Cristales? Leave your answer in the comments, and if you enjoy journeys that look past stereotypes to discover the world, don't forget to subscribe so you can join us in the next video.